Readers, today we will be reading chapters 20 through 22 in How to Eat Fried Worms. Before we get started, let's look at our pre-reading questions. Questions to think about while we're reading. Number 1. What did Billy want to eat for breakfast? What did Billy eat instead? Number 2. Why did Joe and Alan come to Billy's house? Number 3. What did Billy's mother do when she learned Billy was still eating worms? And number 4. Whose side did Billy's mom take in the argument? So let's go. And chapter 20 is called Billy's Mother. Billy slumped at the kitchen table on one elbow, pawing in his bowl of Wheaties with his spoon. His mother was washing the breakfast dishes at the sink. But why isn't it good to eat hot dogs for breakfast? I know nobody does. But why don't they? Oh, Billy, said his mother, stop it. Finish your cereal. Well, but a knock on the screen door. Billy's mother glanced around. Alan, Joe, is your sister better, Joe? Yes, thank you. Oh, hello, Alan, Joe. Is your sister better, Joe? Yes, thank you. Billy can't come out until he finishes his breakfast. Would you like to wait for him on the front porch? We can see you, Mrs. Foster. Oh, come in. Mrs. Foster, said Joe as Alan shut the door carefully behind them. I don't know if you know about it already, but see, about a week ago, Alan made this bet with Billy eating worms. If Billy could eat 15 worms, one each day for 15 days, then... Billy, you're not still eating them. Billy stuffed a spoonful of Wheaties into his mouth. No, just worms, Mom. I've been eating lots of other stuff too. Look at me. I'm healthy. Dr. McGrath told you that worms wouldn't hurt me. But Billy, Dr. McGrath didn't think you were going to keep on eating worms. Joe nudged Alan and grinned. Aw, Mom, if 5 worms wouldn't hurt me, a few more won't either. They're little worms. Besides, it's a bet. They're big worms, Mrs. Foster, said Joe, looking, virtuous. We won't lie to you. My mother told me not to tell a lie. Manure, said Billy. Mom, it's a bet, I told you. If I win, Alan's got to pay me $50. $50, young man, don't you move from that chair. She went off into the front hall. Thanks, whispered Billy. But you'll see, it won't work. Alan and Joe gazed nonchalantly at the ceiling. Billy's mother's voice came from the front hall. Dr. McGrath, I'm awfully sorry to bother you again. It's such a ridiculous matter, but since I spoke to you, Billy has continued to eat worms. Pause. No, it's not. It's nothing like that. He's actually perfectly normal. Otherwise, it seems he's made a bet with some other boys. Pause. One every day. He has to eat 15 to win his bet. Pause. Oh, thank you, Dr. McGrath. I'm so sorry to bother you. She returned to the kitchen. But no more bets after this one, Billy. Alan and Joe, don't you egg him on anymore. Alan made a rude gesture at him. Mrs. Foster, said Joe, what we really came about is that Alan and me are going to the lake, Lauderdale today with my father to fish, and we won't be back till tomorrow night. So we were wondering if you'd make sure Billy eats the worm today and tomorrow. It's not that we don't trust Billy, Mrs. Foster. No, said Billy's mother, smiling, but it's always better if there's a referee. You know, like Mr. Simmons says at school, to save arguments and hurt feelings. We brought the 2 worms. He held up a paper bag. We boiled them already, so you can just keep them in the refrigerator. Well, said Billy's mother, this is quite a responsibility. Are you sure I'll be neutral enough? I am his mother. Yeah, we thought of that, said Joe, but we figured, well, you're usually pretty fair, and besides, parents almost never cheat kids if it's just something between kids. They're usually pretty fair until they get into it. Billy's mother laughed. And how does he eat them? Just cold boiled? Well, we've been frying them, Mrs. Foster. We rolled them in cornmeal and then fry them in like fish. But we can do whatever he wants, except that Alan and me have decided it's not fair to make soup out of them or chop them all up like hash or chicken salad sandwich. He's got to eat them piece by piece. Who said? Yelled Billy.